Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 22nd February 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles for mains purpose and for prelims purpose. Let us take overview of these articles first. What is the context of the article, to which part of our syllabus it relates to, so that you are able to locate these articles, as we have provided the Hindu page number also. So it is advisable to you that simultaneously you read that particular article in the Hindu newspaper also, so that you can relate whatever the discussion we are doing here. So let us take overview. Here the first article, voice vote as constitutional subterfuge. Okay, so on page number 6, the article is discussing or having the context of how Karnataka legislature, okay, so the legislative council recently has passed one particular bill that is passed by voice vote here. Okay, so the kind of voice vote is being frequently used by state legislatures as well as the recently passed farm bills which were passed by Rajya Sabha by voice vote. It is said that it is the constitutional subterfuge. Now subterfuge is a kind of deceit that is being done to attain the final objective. Okay, so here we will discuss what are these particular bills that have been passed by voice vote, and why voting is important in the legislature, any legislature, be it state legislature and central legislature, especially the importance of bicameralism, the Rajya Sabha and Legislative Council. Okay, so we will talk about that from polity perspective. GS2 paper. Clean energy post COVID-19. Again, the context here is of energy security. Okay, so the article is providing some very good inputs, points, especially relating to need of reliable and continuous uninterrupted energy supply for COVID-19 recovery. Okay, pandemic recovery, we can say that, economic recovery. So we will look into from economy, energy crisis perspective as well as environment protection. Navigating the storm. Here the context of the article is, it is appreciating the work done by the 15th Finance Commission in last 1 year. So and some of the recommendations which have been accepted by central government. So we will have look into those recommendations, and then we will also talk about from basics of Finance Commission. Then time and perseverance. Yes, in a previous lecture itself we had discussed about this Mars 2020 mission by NASA and this Perseverance rover. Again, the significance of that landing of rover on the Mars surface for the first time by any such mission. This is giving the significance of this, because in your mains examination previously UPSC has asked about Juno mission. Okay, so similar kind of question can be asked here for GS3 paper, science and technology section, and from prelims also this Mars 2020. Then from IR, follow-up between bilateral relations of India and Maldives. Recently our Indian external affairs minister is visiting Maldives, and some of the agreements have been signed here, bilateral agreements. So we will look into that as a follow-up to international relations. Now one by one we will look into these articles, but before going into the details of these articles, let me improve upon the earlier lecture, Saturday's lecture. In that particular lecture I was continuously referring to one judgment, defamation, that article that we discussed. One small correction is that I was referring to Supreme Court judgment, but that is Delhi High Court judgment. Okay, so by mistakenly actually I was referring to Supreme Court judgment. So one small correction you can do in your notes if you are writing down about them. Okay, yes, now we can start with the lecture here, one by one these articles. First article, voice vote as constitutional subterfuge. Now this is very important, as we can see that there has been continuous criticism of the ongoing, or we can say that the present government which is in power, for bypassing the parliamentary scrutiny from time to time. The different methods are being used. For example, the money bill route has been used from time to time. You can take the example of Aadhaar bill. or other such finance bills, sorry, not finance bill, other such bills which were passed as money bills. The other important issue involved here is that many such bills are not being referred to standing parliamentary committees, right? So these standing committees which analyze these bills give some important inputs, recommendations, but they are not being referred to these committees. Okay, and the recent issue, we can say that the Karnataka Prevention of Slaughter and Preservation of Cattle Bill, this bill was passed by Karnataka Legislative Council, and it was passed by voice vote and not by vote by division that was continuously demanded by opposition. Now, what is the significance of this particular, let's say, incident is that the Legislative Council of Karnataka did not have the majority of ruling government, still the bill was passed by the voice vote. So if it would have been passed by division vote, it would not have been passed. The significance here is that the same case is with the farm bills which have been passed in September 2020. They were also passed in Rajya Sabha by voice votes, despite of demand by opposition and the members of parliament for division vote. Now you need to know that there are 4 types of voting. Just let us give the reference. According to rules of procedure and conduct in Rajya Sabha, there are 4 types of voting in Rajya Sabha. They are voice votes, counting, division by automatic vote recorder, and division by going into the lobbies. So let us not go into details of all these methods. Rather, you need to know that these are different methods: voice vote and counting. Okay, and these are not put into the records of the house, first 2. Rather, division by automatic vote recorder and division by going into lobbies, this is put in the records of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so this is the factual information that you need to know about prelims. Okay, now you have understood how from time to time the ruling governments are bypassing the scrutiny of these bills by the second house. Here the importance of the second house, we can say that, or the we can say bicameralism. So in terms of central legislature or union legislature, the Rajya Sabha, in terms of state legislature, it is the Legislative Council. Now what is the significance of this bicameralism or the second house we are talking about? Let us try to understand that. So significance of Rajya Sabha. So yes, we can talk about the important points here in significance. First and foremost is that we can understand that through the general elections in every 5 years, the state assembly and Lok Sabha elections are conducted, and the method which is used there is first past the post system. And in that system, we can say that the elected representatives, those in the Lok Sabha or state assemblies, we cannot say that shows the representation of each and every person. Okay, absolutely we can say, though it represents the majority. So for that purpose, we can say that the wider representation in the parliament or any legislature, such kind of second house, the Rajya Sabha, is very important. Now the second most important aspect we can understand here, the importance of Rajya Sabha or Legislative Council, is that the second legislative scrutiny. So bills which requires a more in-depth scrutiny, such particular house, especially which can also take inputs of the experts, this is very important for second view on those bills. And the third important aspect is that the principle of separation of powers, which is enshrined in our constitution, separation of powers among the 3 arms of the government: legislature, executive and judiciary. So here it strengthens that principle. How it strengthens the separation of principle by separating the executive from the legislature. As we know that most of the executives are the part of the lower house, or we can say Lok Sabha or state assembly, and they are not largely the part of the upper house, or we can say Rajya Sabha, and therefore Rajya Sabha can independently hold this council of ministers or these executives accountable to its house effectively. Okay, and that's why the principle of separation of power is strengthened here. However, from time to time, those with majority governments, they have been considering this second house or bicameralism as obstruction to pass these bills. For example, you can see here the notorious emergency era 42nd constitutional amendment could not be repealed by the Janta government in 1977. It came into power. So why it could not repeal that particular constitutional amendment? Because Congress had still majority in Rajya Sabha and it obstructed such bill. Okay. The second best example here is of 64th constitutional amendment bills on Panchayati Raj. So here also what happened is the opposition obstructed the bill or defeated it. The bill got defeated in Rajya Sabha, even though the ruling government or the Congress at that time enjoyed huge amount of majority in Lok Sabha, and this bill was passed by the majority in Lok Sabha. So this is how we can understand that particular bills have been, let's say, obstructed in the Rajya Sabha. The best example you can see that many a times the present NDA one government faced such obstructions as it did not have majority in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so we have to understand this from polity perspective. There can be question, for example, explain the significance of Rajya Sabha or bicameralism in any parliamentary democracy or parliamentary democracy like India. You can talk about this, the significance part. At the same time, the recent examples you can give. Okay, in recent examples, you should mention these examples like the farm laws, or at state level this particular bill, or even the bills being passed as money bill. You give the example of Aadhaar bill. So the view of judiciary on Aadhaar bill was that largely it accepted passing this bill as money bill. However, one of the dissenting judge in that particular bench has said that passing such bills as money bill is nothing less than a fraud on the constitution. Okay, so you can mention this particular judgment or the view of dissenting judge. Okay, if you are whenever we are trying to criticize such methods being used by the government, right? So yes, so this is the discussion from polity perspective. Try to take input from this article. Next, clean energy post COVID-19. So on page number 7, op-ed page, the article is providing context of how reliable and uninterrupted supply of electricity in India and other such South Asian and Asian countries have helped to deal with this pandemic crisis effectively. Okay, at the same time, recently the failure of power supply in Texas and nearby states in US and how the cold wave is impacting that particular region, and the power failure in that region is making it worse. Okay, so the context we can understand here, the requirement of such reliable and uninterrupted supply of power or electricity. So what is the significance in dealing with that pandemic? Yes, surely first and foremost is that the hospitals and healthcare infrastructure requires such continuous supply of power. Okay, so this is the first significance. Second, work from home. Yes, so the companies or the domestic areas and urban settlements, they require such kind of continuous power supply for work from home to be effective. Next, distance learning, e-learning, online education. This was effectively let's say implemented in last 1 year during this pandemic time, and to some extent we can say we have been successful in delivering the online education platforms or because of reliable and uninterrupted power supply. Then the to communicate essential health information by the government. Yes, this is very important aspect of tackling any pandemic we can say, or any disaster, the governance part. Okay, so for that purpose. And lastly, cold chain systems and logistics for vaccine delivery. This is also very important. Cold chain storage is important aspect of any vaccine delivery. As we have seen, the two important vaccines which have been rolled out in India, they require cold storage of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius temperatures. right? So for that purpose, surely what we require is uninterrupted and reliable power supply, and this is how we are able to manage this pandemic effectively. Then significance of renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. So what is the significance here? The writer is saying that we need to shift from the use of fossil fuels and conventional energy sources to renewable energy sources, because they have some advantages. First thing, they create more jobs and enhance economic activity in rural areas. Yes, there has been, let's say, practical examples, such surveys and studies, that the job creation in renewable energy projects is to some extent on the same scale as compared to those thermal power plants or using the conventional energy sources. Okay, so we can use the renewable energy projects for that purpose, for creating jobs, at the same time for fueling economic activities in rural areas by such projects. Next, support modern infrastructure in those rural communities, and that too we can understand to make it more inclusive. So those communities will be now more inclusive and more resilient. We know that kind of power failures happens in India, especially in rural areas. So such kind of renewable energy sources provide the reliable and uninterrupted sources of electricity. And last but not the least, to meet the Paris Agreement commitments. So as we have some of the commitments under INDCs to this Paris Agreement 2015, right, which are these intended nationally determined contributions. One of them is that we have to have 40% of the power supply by 2030 from renewable energy sources, or we can say that we need to eliminate those conventional energy sources or fossil fuel use. Now what we can do to achieve that? Way forward or measures: phasing out conventional energy sources, fuels, we can say, especially the use of coal. So coal power plants can be replaced by renewable energy power production. The second aspect is ending fossil fuel subsidies. Whatever the government is providing, the such subsidies, that can be removed. Especially at present, huge subsidy is given for natural gas. Okay, so fossil fuel subsidies can be reduced here. As we know that petrol and diesel subsidies have been removed and they have been now brought at the market mechanism. Okay. Implementing carbon pricing. Here you can mention that carbon pricing means you can talk about the carbon tax. So as we know that this carbon tax is very important aspect of deterring the people, industries to use such kind of fossil fuels for their economic activities, right? So the coal cess or the coal carbon tax, it is nothing but, we can say, important carbon pricing mechanism to deter use of those fossil fuels. Okay, so the government can use them. At the same time, it can be used as important revenue source by the government for further afforestation measures, right? So surely this should be the one of the way forward that government should take, right? So energy crisis, which is part of GS3 paper syllabus, the question can be there, the importance of reliable and uninterrupted energy supply. Okay, so from GS3 perspective, and then also from environment section, there is some kind of intersection here. Renewable energy is part of economy also as well as environment also. So accordingly take inputs for mains examination GS3 paper. Navigating the storm. So here the article is appreciating the work that has been done by 15th Finance Commission, especially during the pandemic year. So how it has kept the government's let's say demands in check, or we can say that whatever the yes, the demands put, or we can say that its function, 15th Finance Commission's function have been let's say very difficult task, as we have seen that the last 1 year and the pandemic and how economic activities, there was a downturn in economic activities, and therefore it had to change its working. At the same time, it had to change its recommendations according to changing economic conditions. Okay, and largely the government, central government has accepted these finance commission recommendations. Which are these? 41% of share in the divisible pool of taxes to the states. Then some of the grants, which are these revenue deficit grants of nearly 2.95 lakh crore for 17 states. So basically it is related to GST compensation cess, the conflict that has been going on between center and state, and now through this, for next 5 years the revenue deficit grants are to be given to these deficit states now. Okay, 2.95 lakh crore. The third one is it has accepted to make grants towards urban and rural local bodies on certain after satisfying certain conditions by them. And lastly, in principle not to suggestion to set up non-lapsable dedicated fund for defense infrastructure and internal security infrastructure of country. Okay, so these are the recommendations given by 15th Finance Commission and that have been accepted by yes, central government. Now let us have a look at the Finance Commission, the basics of Finance Commission, which is important for prelims as well as mains examination, but largely prelims examination. What is the composition of Finance Commission? What are the let's say different eligibility criteria, the powers and functions of Finance Commission, and some important informations. Okay, so yes, first and foremost thing is that the Article 280 requires for the establishment of this Finance Commission. So we can understand here now it is constitutional body, not statutory body, not executive body, rather it is constitutional body. The next, it is constituted by president after every 5 years or at such earlier times as may be deemed fit by the president. Okay, so generally it is established or constituted by President of India every 5 years. Okay, this has been the let's say continuous task since independence. Then composition. In composition you have to understand it is constituted of or consisted of a chairman and the 4 other such members. Okay, a chairman and 4 such other members, they are appointed by the president and they hold the office for such amount of time that has been that is decided by the president. So there is no fixed tenure here, there is no fixed tenure given in the constitution. Then they are eligible for reappointment. Okay, so the members and chairman, they are eligible for reappointment for the to the Finance Commission. Now in constitution itself, the powers and functions and the qualification for appointment of these members, it is these functions or this task is given to the parliament. Okay, authorizes parliament to determine all these things, and that's why the parliament has passed Finance Commission Act 1951. And accordingly the chairman, according to this act, the qualification for chairman is that he should be person having experience in public affairs. This is the statement. He should be having the experience in public affairs. However, the other 4 members have some specific qualification criteria. What are these criteria? 4 other members are to be selected from amongst the following. One member should be the judge of High Court or one qualified to be appointed as one. The second member, a person who has specialized knowledge of finance and accounts of the government. Okay. The third member, person who has wide experience in financial matters and the administration. See, this is the difference. Finance and accounts of the government and financial matters and in the administration. So this is administrative aspect. And lastly, the person who has special knowledge of economics. So we can say that he is the expertise in economics, we can say. So these 4 members, the qualifying criteria the UPSC prelims have already asked, and that can be repeated question here about the qualification of members and chairman, person having experience in public affairs. Now what are the functions? So the important functions you need to remember here is, first, the Finance Commission is tasked to recommend the President on the following matters. Okay, give the recommendation on the following matters. First, the divisible pool of taxes, the recommendation on this between the state and center and state government. Okay, so the pool of taxes, net proceeds of taxes, how they are to be divided, that formula is to be decided and recommended by the Finance Commission. The second important recommendation to the President is regarding the matters of grant in aid. So formula or the principles which should govern the grants in aids to the states out of Consolidated Fund of India. This is the second. Third one is that to recommend the different measures that are needed to augment the Consolidated Fund of States. Now Consolidated Fund of States are required for, let's say, finances of panchayats and urban bodies. Okay, so such measures can be recommended. And fourth or lastly, any other such matter or issue which has been we can say referred to the Commission by President in the interest of sound finance. Okay. So lastly, the Finance Commission submits its report to the President, and ultimately it is put in front of the Parliament, okay, for further discussion. Now you need to know that the report that has been given by Finance Commission is advisory in nature, and those recommendations given in that report are not binding on central government. They are not binding on central government. However, as we can understand, it is the constitutional body. Largely the central government accepts the recommendation. Largely this has been the, let's say, methodology since independence. This has been the practice since independence about accepting the recommendations. However, you need to know that it is of advisory nature, not binding on central government. Now next article, time and perseverance. So yes, on page number 6, editorial page, a small editorial regarding the NASA's Mars 2020 mission. Now it is very important, you need to understand that some of the planetary missions, space missions, probes, they are of that much significance that they have huge impact on the further such missions by any country or that particular agency. Okay, so such kind of question can be asked in GS3 paper, Science and Technology section, mains examination, and that can be also asked in prelims examination from Science and Technology section. Okay, so here we are discussing about the significance of Mars 2020, NASA's Mars exploration let's say project. Now you have to understand some basics, that when it was launched and how the touchdown happened. So it was launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida on 30th June 2020, and recently the rover of this mission landed on Jezero crater on the Mars on 18th February 2021. Okay, why it was launched in this particular date, and you need to know that there are other such two missions Mars missions launched in June month 2020. So this June 2020 is considered as Mars window, wherein Mars was much near to the Earth at that time, and that's why 3 missions, one of them is this one, Mars 2020, other was Hope mission by UAE, and third one is Tianwen 1 of China. So there can be question in prelims examination, surely there can be question either for match the following, Mars 2020 by NASA, Hope by UAE and its we can say its space agency, Tianwen by China. Okay, so yes, and this Mars window concept, June month 2020. Now the significance of this landing on the surface by the Perseverance rover of this mission. Okay, this is very important. For the first time it is landed on the surface of Mars. As we have seen in Mars orbiter mission of India, for the first time it entered into the orbit of Mars successfully in the first attempt by any country. However, we could not land on the surface of Mars. There was problem there. However, now the NASA has been successfully landed. This Perseverance rover of NASA USA has landed. Now, why this is a significant landing? So there are two aspects or difficulties in landing over the Mars. First and foremost is that this is considered as critical phase. After entering into orbit of Mars, there is only 11-minute window to land smoothly on the surface of Mars. Okay, so in this 11 minutes, we have to reduce the speed of that rover or that particular, let's say, probe. Okay, so entering the Martian atmosphere at about 20,000 km per hour, this is the speed in entering time. The mission had to bring the Perseverance rover to halt on the surface in just 7 minutes. Sorry, here the 7 minutes we are talking about, in just 7 minutes. And the 11-minute window is only available for, we can say, it takes 11 minutes for radio signal to reach Earth from the Mars. The mission control could not really guide the landing, and therefore the Perseverance probe had to use its own the camera on that particular probe for landing. Automatic landing, independent landing has been done, not the signal which is given from the Earth here. Okay, so the rover had to complete this process by itself. Now this is very important. Okay, and yes, earlier also NASA had sent such probes on the Mars. The earlier Mars expedition which carried the Curiosity rover. So Curiosity rover earlier in August 2012 it landed on the Mars surface, identified regions that could have hosted life. And that's why now you have to understand that the particular location has been used now. What is that location? Jezero crater. Now objectives of this, or the overall importance of the landing here and Mars 2020 is that first objective of the mission is to check about the ancient life on the Mars, whether there was signs of ancient life, and collect rocks and soil samples from its surface for further studies. Okay, the second aspect you have to understand is that why particular crater was selected. Why particular crater was selected? So yes, this Jezero crater, this was chosen, why? For study as based as earlier aerial survey that has been done on the surface Mars, and it was found that this crater was a part of delta. Okay, ancient delta, is home to ancient delta, and therefore there could be signs of life here. Clay minerals and carbonates were seen, making it the crater good place to search for life's existence. Okay, so the significance, why particular place was chosen. The next aspect is that this Perseverance rover had some of the experimental instruments. For example, there was to be let's say test out technologies that could help sustain presence of human life on the Mars. For example, the technology which demonstrate extracting oxygen from the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of Mars. Okay, so this is one thing. The second aspect is that this particular rover also carried helicopter named Ingenuity. Okay, the name is important, Ingenuity. So this Ingenuity helicopter is for demonstrating the flight on the Mars. Okay, so whether there can be flight on the Mars by such helicopter or such kind of probes in that particular atmosphere. Okay, so this is one thing. And lastly, we can say that the rover will study the geology there on the surface of the Mars. It will store the samples. However, this particular mission is not for bringing back these stored samples, soil samples. Rather, it will store those samples, and the further next mission by NASA will bring back those samples from that mission. Okay, so its function here is or the task here is to study the geology and the rock samples, soil samples, and store those samples in that particular place, and the next probes will bring them back. Okay, so this is the basic information about this Mars 2020 mission of NASA and the significance of this particular event. Okay. Yes, so such kind of prelims question can be asked here in your examination. So for practice purpose, practice prelims MCQ, which of the following is not one of the objective of Mars 2020 mission launched by NASA? So yes, search for life, signs of past life. Yes, this is one of the objective. Next, study the geology of Mars and bring back the soil samples. Now this is not the objective, bring back the soil samples, rather only store those samples. This is the objective. Bringing back will be the next task by the next probe. And yes, technology demonstration to extract oxygen from atmosphere, carbon dioxide. Yes, this is one. And lastly, to demonstrate flight on the Mars. Yes, this is also one of the objective. So what should be the answer here? B. Option B should be the answer. Okay, so moving on to next article for especially prelims part, as well as we can say international relations section as a follow for bilateral relations between India and Maldives. So yes, recent visit by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar of India. Okay, so what are the different agreements that have been signed? First is about the credit line. So how much? A defense line of credit agreement worth $50 million have been signed with Maldives. At the same time, one such particular agreement, an agreement to develop, support, maintain Maldives National Defense Force Coast Guard harbor at Sifwaru, this was signed. So this is important for prelims examination, factual information. The agreement to develop, support and maintain a Maldives National Defense Force Coast Guard harbor at Sifwaru. And yes, the joint statement that has been issued by both countries gave the emphasis on maintaining peace and security in the Indian Ocean region, IOR, and then two sides also agreed to strengthen coordination on strengthening maritime security. Okay, so enhancing regional maritime security. Fine. So yes, this is important developments in bilateral relations. This information is important for prelims examination also. Okay. And lastly, we can talk about important captions and quotations. Now here you can give the particular quotation when we talk about the federalism. So India lives in states. If center takes them along, it might help attain the balance envisaged by the commission. Here it is talking about the finance commission actually in that particular article, which is needed for drive the country onto double engine growth trajectory from the current nadir. Nadir matlab this is like plateau, okay, or like this. So at present the economic growth is stagnant to let's say have the double engine growth trajectory from the current plateau part, we can say. And COVID-19 crisis has forced us to change many aspects of our life. It has shown us that we are more adaptive and resilient than we may. So this can be used on any as a part of conclusion in essay on COVID-19 and how human is so much agile to adapt to this COVID-19 pandemic also. Yes? Okay. So these are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information about editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari sir and team, you can contact Lukman IAS. Also, if you like the discussion that we have done, if you like this video, surely comment on this video, subscribe to our channel and like this video and share this with your friends. Thank you.